Hello, everybody.
Jazzy.
Self-disclosure.
What?
Nothing. Joke.
Wait, no, what'd you say? I can't hear whispers.
I know I said soft disclosure because alpha and never mind. Welcome everybody. It's Moment of Presence, and I am Michelle with Moksha Grace Coaching, and I am so glad that you're here today. And as usual, I am yeah, what joined. That would be the word. I am joined by the beautiful Krista
Krista
Barone.
Brown.
Ah, so we have a fun topic to talk about today.
Every week is a fun topic.
Every week is a fun topic, and looking back and well, not looking back, but what I'm, in case no one's noticed, uh, what I've been kind of transitioning to is we don't always have to tell sad, bad, what some people would call bad stories to see the lessons in the stories. We can actually look at some good times or things that turned out good, and what are the lessons from that. And so that is what I've been doing, is I've been writing short stories, and then taking the lessons from them and turning them into moment of present episodes. And so I'm having a lot of fun. I don't know what I'm going to do with all the stories when they're done. We'll see. But there's a lot of lessons in there, and that I'm finding, and they're cool, they're deep, and I invited a lot of people on from my personal Facebook group for this one, because this is a story that you were in elementary school, and I'm still Facebook friends with a lot of the people that were involved in this situation, and we all came together as a community, and it was really kind of cool how it all transpired.
Take a pause, because you literally have not taken a pause since you started talking, so let's have a little bit of space to then go into the topic.
Yes, my COO.
Of which I do want to say, what you wrote up a whole thing, sent it over to me, and I was like, you actually made me tear up. Because, like you mentioned, this was something that took place when I was back in elementary school. Many moons ago now at this point. And it really, like, I'm actually really, I'm surprised, but I'm not, that it wasn't something that continued on after we moved on, because it was something that so many people look forward to, and it was so fun and so exciting, and it actually made learning enjoyable. And I think that's so much of what's lost in public school these days, is that no one has the time, energy, or money to make things fun anymore. And I think we see a direct reflection of that in our youth and their lack of just honestly understanding and awareness and just basic education, which that's not what this episode is about. But what you were able to put together was, I think, pretty freaking massive for especially the times. But just if someone could bring it back now, it would be incredible. So why don't you lay out the story for us?
So so this was the year when Joy was almost canceled. And if you are here, please make sure that you say hello in the comments. Let us know that you're here. Tell us who you are, because depending on where you're tuning in from, we can either see your name or we can't. So just let us know if you're here, and put a heart if you were part of this story. So what we're talking about is back in when the kids were in elementary school. It was the early 2000s, and they went to this amazing elementary school, and I remember I wasn't I don't believe I was PTA president at the time, but I think it was like right before, or maybe it was like the first year. I don't remember. And that's why I was kind of hoping that other people would join us, because there's some things that I just don't remember, but I remember the bigger things. I remember walking into the main office in the school, and it was right after Thanksgiving. They were just starting to decorate for the holidays, right? And I noticed that I saw um, snowmen. I saw snowflakes. I saw a menorah. I saw dreidels. And I was like, where's the Christmas tree? And they were like, we can't have a Christmas tree. And I was like, but wait, why can't we have a Christmas tree? And the answer was, well, because we can't have religious symbols. And you know me, I can be kind of like silly and smart alecky sometimes, but I like to think outside of the box too. And so the first thing that came to mind was, I'm pretty sure that I have never read about a uh, evergreen in the Bible. Like, I'm pretty sure that there was not a Christmas tree ever talked about in the Bible. I think that was something that came after. And if there's anyone out there that knows, please let me know. And so I was asking, like, well, why can we have snowflakes, and why can we have a menorah? Why can we have dreidel? Why can we have the Kwanzaa, decorations? But we can't have a Christmas tree because a Christmas tree is not based on religion. And so it got a little uncomfortable. And I decided, and I loved everybody that we worked with at the elementary school, and I loved the elementary school, and they were all very open to my craziness. I decided to dive in and research this. And what I found was, if it was something that was education for educational purposes, then anything and everything could be talked about. Not deep into religion, but you could have symbols if it was for educational purposes.
Mm-hmm.
So, what I did was, I made up a proposal, came up with this plan. I'm pretty sure we had already had in place the Jingle Bell jog. Do you remember that?
That I don't remember.
Because I still have
Just
Jingle.
goes to show you how great your thing was. I don't even remember the other.
Well, what's funny is when we were going through Christmas stuff, I found the big bag of Jingle Bells because we still haven't used all the Jingle Bells from the Jingle Bell jog. And we used to tie Jingle Bells to every student's sneakers, and we would walk around. So the elementary school was set in this piece of property that was then circled by a neighborhood and by houses. And so there was a street. And so it was actually a perfect idea that popped into my mind. So as I'm researching and I'm looking through all this stuff, I start talking to the other ladies in the PTA, and I'm like, we got to be able to make this work. Like, it just, there's just got something that's got to happen. And if you know me, you know that I can think outside of the box, and I'm not the it can't happen. I'm the how can we make it fit?
Yeah.
How can we make it work?
Yeah.
And so what I then went to the principal and proposed was, on the Jingle Bell jog, instead of just walking around the street, what if we created a winter around the world similar to Epcot? And so I took it to the principal, and I said we would have uh, a sheet of, a one pager of the country and what the tradition was from the country. So, like Italy, we had La Bafana, which, shout out to Allie. She always played the perfect La Bafana. I think she did it for 5 years. We had uh, a tent for Hawaii, and all the parents, like, all of a sudden just started volunteering.
Contributing.
Yeah, and going, oh wait, I got this country. Oh wait, I got this country. We had Israel, and they were dancing in the street. We had the three wise men, but they did not tell the religious side of the story. They just kind of made it like we saw a star and we were on our way to a birthday party. So they were the three wise men, and that was the journey that they took. It was very not religious. Educational. And the point was, why are we excluding the celebrations and the traditions of different cultures versus allowing the kids to share, like, hey, that's what I do, or hey, that's what my neighbor does. Like,
Mm-hmm.
why are we not talking about it? And
Mm-hmm.
so why why when you're Jewish you get 7 days worth of presents and we only get one? Well, they have something called Hanukkah. We don't have to get into the religious reasons about it.
8. I'm thinking of
Eight.
Adam Sandler's 8
You're
Crazy
right.
Months.
I don't know why I thought seven. But anyway, so it was about how to understand what everybody celebrated and not just put up symbols of snowflakes and snowmen, but things that actually mattered that made the kids feel like they belong there, and also allowed the other kids to understand what little Johnny or, little Krista got to celebrate and why. Again, not religion, but just
No,
how
I
they
mean, I'm
did.
sure there was some religion in a part of it, but that was the entire point. I mean, that's where how
Right.
everything just got kicked off was that, you know, if you're going to talk about one, talk about all. And we had talked about before this, the parents that would be like, well, my thing isn't here. My piece isn't represented. What would you do
And
in
and
those
my
cases?
and my answer was, you know what? You are absolutely right. And next year, bring your tent, have your one-page report, and all of the one pagers had to be approved. Principal wanted to make sure that we were staying within the agreement. And we did. We even made passports for the
Mm-hmm.
kids so they could walk. Do you remember that? And you got to walk up and you got them punched, hole punched, that you went to that country. And the street was already going to be closed for the Jingle Bell jog, and so the police already knew about it, so it wasn't like I had to like rearrange anything. And what was so cool is, do you remember the police department and what they did?
No.
They all had Santa hats on.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Sorry, I thought you meant they did like. I thought you were gonna say they like. I don't know, did something with their motorcycles or something.
No, they had there was one, and actually I don't know, it was not a police officer. It was actually, I won't say her full name, but Danielle's dad, and he showed up on his motorcycle dressed as the Grinch. So that was really
Yeah,
cool. Yep, that was super cool. But yeah, so La Bafana was there. Like, so we did not have Krampus. I don't even think I knew
that's an
about Krampus
outrage.
back then. But it was so much fun, and everyone had a good
Mhm.
time.
Well, and I think
Everybody enjoyed it.
some people brought food from the culture. They brought different. They wore the different attire. If there were certain
Yes.
things that they were supposed to wear, they'd be playing music from that place. Like I remember I don't
Hmm.
remember which African country it was, but the actual African country that celebrates Kwanzaa. I remember the outfits.
Hmm.
I feel like I remember music. And I'm pretty sure Yaya Stella cooked
Hmm.
or baked Greek cookies for the Greek tent. Um,
Even though we could not give it out to the students, the teachers and administration were very happy.
yeah.
But we wanted to have things represented, and
Hmm.
the different items that made
Yeah.
it part of the celebration. And so, and the three wise men told, actually read a story of like the star up in the sky. And so it was so special and it was so amazing. And it's one of those things that it taught me persistence. It taught me how to be politically correct when making a proposal such as this, because it really, and I have to give kudos to the principal and the vice principal at that time, assistant principal. I don't remember which one it is. But she really went to bat, and she took a risk too, because she had to go up against like the school board and like explain like this is what we're doing and it's educational purposes. And we got to do it for the next 5 years, and so we all had fun, we all came together, and there wasn't exclusion. It was open to anybody. However, we weren't going to pull the weight on our own. So
Hmm.
if there was a country that wasn't represented, or a culture not represented, we were like, that's fine, but we need more help. And so if you know that about that tradition, then join in next year. And so we had signups, and it was magical.
Hmm.
And this is, people say Merry Christmas, people say Happy Holidays, people can say Happy Hanukkah. You cannot take it personally when someone uses what is joyful for them,
Hmm.
and they say it to you because they don't know that you don't celebrate that, or they think that you celebrate it but maybe you don't. Take it as what it's meant to be. They're trying to share their joy of the season. So whatever you celebrate, just be a part of the joy. Don't be part of a problem. And that was the other thing, was I wasn't just going to complain to the principal about why isn't there a Christmas tree. I'm not that type of a person, but I'm like, I need to understand why there isn't,
Yeah.
and then let's find a way to make it happen.
Yeah.
Be inclusive instead of exclusive.
It reminds me of those people where you say God bless you and they're like, "Oh no, I'm not Christian. I'm just wishing you bless you, bro." It's a sneeze. It's common courtesy. But no, I think that really brings up a really good point too of like, so we see that so much in everything where if more people could just, whether it's someone mentioning God or Jesus or a certain other religious figures or deities or whatever, just change it out for what you believe in. It's looking, it's getting, it's looking past the ego that's like, you should be saying exactly what I say, and looking past that and going, okay, this is what the intention is. And
Right.
if the intention could be recognized, our world would literally be a different place.
Right. And that was
So
the
different.
other, yeah, and that was the other reason why I wanted to talk about this, because there's so much about inclusion of America and all the people that are here, that are here and came through the right process versus not. And well, how can you talk about being inclusive if you're also supporting being exclusive? And it's like, that's not it. You're missing the point. Everyone comes here because of the American dream. The American dream is to be a part of America, not to convince, force, push your beliefs
Take
onto other
advantage of.
people, not to take advantage, not to turn America into where you may have just escaped from because it's not a great place to be. America is a place to come and find the new you and find the best version of you, and go for the American dream and be inclusive. Learn about the different cultures, and it's fun when you do it from that perspective versus you're right, you're wrong and I'm right. And there's a lot of people out there that suffer, that have a hardship especially during the winter months. I have friends that are belittled by their families because they celebrate the winter solstice, and they're like, "Oh, you're like, believe in demons," and it's like, you don't know, you're going by a limiting belief that you were taught a very long time ago. If you look into the actual purpose or meaning of the winter solstice, we have a friend that celebrates the Yule log. I still don't quite understand it, but I'm open to understand the Yule log because it sounds pretty
I
cool.
think it's just Yule.
Yule, and then you have a log. They celebrate the log
I don't
during
think they're,
Yule.
yeah, I don't think they're, yeah.
And
I don't think they
actually,
switch out Jesus for a log.
yeah, no. And actually, that friend was actually a neighbor that lived on the across from the school.
Mm.
And they were the neighbors that moved their RV and had a snow machine.
I was gonna
And
say, I remember a snow machine.
mhm. Yep, and I remember one year Michael Anthony got a hold of that snow machine and stood on top of the RV, and I was just like, "Oh, please don't let anybody get hurt." And he was blowing the snow on all the kids, and it was just fun, and it brought the community together
Yeah.
instead of separating, instead of everyone arguing, well, why can't they have Santa? Why can there not be a Santa Claus? Like, it just didn't make any sense to me. And so I just wanted to share that story and say that you can find the loophole, um, and be respectful and be inclusive instead of being in fear. And that was the other thing. It came from a place of love. The whole idea,
Hmm.
um, sprung from a place of love and wanting everyone to enjoy. And we did. We had a lot of fun. And for those of you that were a part of it that are listening, it's been years. Just some of the best years of my life, and not a lot of people will say that about, PTA sometimes has a bad rap, and I will say that our group, in our PTA, was amazing, and everybody, like, just took on their part, showed up, and we did it for the kids. It was all for the kids. So
Yeah.
from your perspective, um, what was your thoughts or your things, pieces that you remember?
Well, I wasn't the average kid, so um, I thought it was awesome because I just love learning and absorbing information and just getting my hands on as much that I could take in as possible. Plus, I mean, listen, there's something pretty cool about your mom being PTA president. There's certain, perks and street cred that you get in elementary school when that's the case. And then also to have your great grandmother there showing Greek treats and you saying that you helped make them, that certainly, bumps you up in the social hierarchy. But no, I mean, I thought I was always interested in learning as much as possible. So for me, it was really cool to see what everybody else experiences were. I also thought it was really cool to see other people get excited to see themselves represented just like I was. I get a lot of joy out of seeing other people joyful. So
Mhm.
there was a lot of reasons why it was great. Um, and I wasn't part of the political conversation in the background of why it started. I actually didn't. I guess I knew your origin story once I got a little bit older, but obviously I wasn't aware of that piece of it back then. But
Right.
I mean, you definitely notice as a kid, like when, yeah, if I saw a menorah, I'm sure I also was like, well, where's Santa? Where's the Christmas tree? Nothing
Yeah.
against the menorah and all that, but like, where's my stuff?
Right.
Where's all of that? Um, and I was a kid. I didn't have the wherewithal to be like, I am equally as represented.
I'm going to wear my Christmas tree on my shirt, and
Yeah.
that's how I'm going to be the decoration of the classroom. Yeah. And it's interesting. There's so and when we dove into it, and that was what was cool too, because every until we got everything together, we were all researching, like all the PTA moms, and
Hmm.
we got the kids involved too, and some of the teachers even, they had their lesson plans, but some of the teachers actually pulled it in to their lesson plan, and they
Hmm.
had research that they
Hmm.
had the kids do, and it was like, well, what does Italy do, and why is there a La Befana, and what's the story behind that, and
Yeah.
what is the story behind Kwanzaa, and what's the story behind Hanukkah and the oil and the lighting of the candles, and why is it important? And again, it really had nothing to do so much with this, like, deep divide of the religion part of it. It was more of what brought us together. We were all celebrating
I was
something.
just gonna say, I think that's the biggest thing that honestly drives me crazy is it's like there's differences, but can you not see the similarities? Like it's just
Right.
different. It's the same as to me in my mind. It is literally the same as we prefer colored lights on our tree, where some people prefer white colored lights. That is the same
Yeah.
level of significance as
Hmm.
I celebrate Christmas, somebody else celebrates Hanukkah, somebody else celebrates Kwanzaa, someone else celebrates Yule. What's that thing from Seinfeld? A day of grievances or whatever it is. Everybody has their own. the significance of it,
Forgot about
yeah,
that.
the significance of it is entirely what you put on it, and to not just think of it as, oh, cool, they do something different. Like that's to me, that's a very wild concept.
I want to do some research on the Day of Grievances because that
Hopefully, you
might
said that
be
right.
it might be really interesting to bring that into like isn't that kind of like
Festivus.
Festivus like the rest of
Yeah.
us?
Yep.
Um isn't that kind of like doing a bit of shadow work or you're kind of clearing the air? Like it's actually healthy to a point.
So the airing of grievances is a part of Festivus in which participants tell friends and family all the ways they've been disappointed over the past
Okay,
year.
well, sometimes that's called Christmas Eve
Starting
dinner.
with the starting with the classic line from Frank Costanza, "I've got a lot of problems with you people, and now you're going to hear about it."
Okay, well, we're not going to celebrate Festivus. You can
I
celebrate.
might on my own time.
I'm going to strongly suggest celebrating Festivus in your own mind.
Or in a journal, write it out.
Yeah, write it
Write it
out.
out and burn it.
Deal with why those things bothered you, not actually go to the people and tell them why it bothered
That's
them.
like the opposite of the 12-step process.
Right. Well, and yeah, like going and begging for forgive. I like if it
No,
works
you're not
for
asking for
you,
forgiveness here. You're just saying this is how
you're
you
just
pissed me
saying
off this year.
you ticked me off and this is why and now
Mm-hmm.
and there you go.
Yeah.
So that's why I was an idiot to you. So yeah. Yeah, that it seems very negative.
Who are
Uh
we to judge? If that makes someone feel. Listen, 50 Cent is out there right now. He is just grievances all over the place, and he is glowing.
well I love what you told me the other day, something that he did to someone because he wanted him to have a concert and look out and
And see
um
nobody in the first four rows. It was him and Ja Rule, and he bought the first four rows of tickets so he would look out and see nobody in the first four rows. And you know what? Live your best life. If that's what makes you feel good inside, God bless.
I'm gonna go more towards the I'm just joy from inside out.
Golden Retriever, Black Cat.
And you should happily just go about your business and if
Maybe he
someone
was really excited and wanted to make sure that those tickets got purchased, you know?
exactly
And he
and
paid for them. He
I
didn't
was just gonna
sabotage
say
them.
he paid for them. But I would suggest that walking into a Christmas Eve and bringing up the most um, dangerous topic would probably not be something that would be from the heart, uh, maybe from the Grinch's heart. Do you
Hey,
remember
the
we
Grinch is justified.
remember when
They
we did?
bullied him incessantly.
Do you remember we did the moment of presence and we were like, who actually is the most
Oh,
enlightened
absolutely. I remember that.
in the movie? If any of you listening, uh,
Go
who do
back to
you
last year.
who do you think is the most enlightened in the movie The Grinch that stole
I
Christmas?
don't remember what I said back then, but I think my answer is Cindy Lou Who.
And my answer,
Martha May? Okay.
anyone want to take a guess
What
before I say it?
what is your answer? Grinch?
Yeah,
I
it's
think
the
that's
Grinch.
what we had said in our conversation, but
It's the Grinch.
oh, because of his growth, his arc, his growth from start to end.
His arc from the beginning to the end. Why? How he started out being very joyful about Christmas, being part of the
Did
community, loving the community, and then he was bullied,
ostracized because
ostracized,
he looked
and
a
yet
little different.
he still kind of looked out for them on the fringe.
Yeah,
And then in the end, his heart grew. I forget the line. I know you know the line.
grew by three sides, three sides.
Three
I
sides, yeah.
don't know the line.
Uh, and then he brought Christmas to all of the village.
Cindy Lou Who was a gem from the start.
Absolutely.
She
And if
saw the
you
best in everybody.
she did. She did. Even the Grinch. And so there is argument that Cindy Lou Who,
I'll tell you who's not evolved. The mayor.
the mayor was not involved. In no,
Evolved.
yeah, he was
He
involved.
was involved. He was not
He wasn't
evolved.
evolved. Yeah, no, not so much.
I
Uh,
think Martha May had a great character arc because at the end she went with true love and it was the Grinch.
well, and I also think it's interesting because the the Grinch is definitely like, to me when I was a kid, like the Grinch was a scary movie. Like I did not like the Grinch.
No,
I
I didn't
still
either.
don't love the Grinch. It's not like my favorite movie. Um, but I appreciate the Grinch. But I
Mm-hmm.
think it's interesting the how we've moved into all of these different movies. The other night we watched Red One, and that one was interesting too. And that one brought in some culture that most people wouldn't know about either, and kind of brought that together, the mythological characters and things like it was very interesting. And they also showed Santa very buff and that he works out and takes care of himself. He doesn't just sit around and eat cookies and milk all year. So I think it's interesting how even the movies have started to evolve.
And include other figures. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
I think it's cool to see Krampus and La Befana represented more.
yeah, because I think that
I
you
didn't love
know
their depiction in the movie, although Krampus's was cool. La Befana I didn't love in that movie.
yeah.
I did like her depiction in the Santa Claus's show though.
Oh, she was amazing, and
Yeah,
that's
as an
another.
actress is
That
splendid.
season, that the series is also wonderful. The Santa Clauses, is it with an S? Yeah, because La Befana is just wonderful, and it shows again bringing the cultural differences together,
Yeah.
and yet they were still celebrating winter. They were still celebrating the season, and even in the old favorite with Heat Miser. Uh, who did Heat Miser and his brother? What was his name?
Snow Miser,
Snow Miser. Uh, who was their mother?
Mother Earth.
Mother Earth. And so we get back to the solstice. So when you really think about all of these shows and all of these things, when you really like kind of chop it down, they it has been talked about before. People have just kind of had their, blinders on, and it's time to open up your heart and let people be who they are. Let people celebrate what they want to celebrate. It's when we cross the line and try to force people to believe the way we believe or do the way we do. That's when we cross the line. So
On
stop
that note,
Stop
let's take a
bullying your
moment of
family and
presence.
friends. Yes. And stop bullying your family and friends into doing it your way. Okay. So, with all of that said, uh, when you breathe in, think of your favorite holiday moment from your past or up and coming, and just breathe that in. And when you exhale, nice and slow, let it go right down into your heart, because that is really what these shows are about, is bringing us into the moment. And it is a very festive time of the year. Bring in your breath, nice deep breath, and hold. Feel the love and the joy, how you want this Christmas or this holiday to go. Exhale. And then for this one, breathe in like love and peace. And when we exhale, send it out to everyone, even those that you may have some beef with. So deep breath in. You're gonna make me laugh. Deep breath in. Nice exhale. Send out that love.
You had me singing the Heat Miser, Miser song a second ago, so
Well, and so to leave us on a festive note, every day you get to wake up and you get to decide, are you going to be more like the heat miser or more like
No, you can't do that. They're two sides of the same coin.
every
Are
day
you going to be the stubborn heat miser or the um
compromising?
compromising heat miser?
Yes. And notice he compromised. He
And
did not accommodate,
sometimes
which is a whole other
you
show.
need the universe, or in that show, movie, short,
Your mother.
other, to come in and kind of, give you a little nudge. Sometimes the universe does that.
Yeah, we always get reminded. So yeah, every day when you wake up, you get to make a choice. Is it going to be a good day? Is it going to be a bad day? So choose wisely, and before you judge somebody else, take a deep breath, take a step back, see it from all perspectives, and let people be who they are. Can't change anybody, but you can manage yourself, and you can make changes within yourself. So have a great day, and we will see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.